Yeah, burb. Oh, you just gotta wait forever. Thanks, burb. Fuck off.
You, give me warm, give me soft.
You warm, give you soft. Where is she? Thanks, man. I was saying that's fine. Totally fine. And then I was complaining. I mentioned there was 2 of those other guys there. Rusted iron ring. Proves balance on poor footing. What are you calling poor-footed? Oh, I know who's here now. It's a jerk knight. No, I played through a few times. I haven't successfully done this, the demon here before though, so it'll be nice to see if I can do it this time. Oh, don't get dead while you're drinking Esther's Panz. You died. You just parry. Shut up. I wish I could parry. That would make things a lot easier. I wonder if I could parry this guy though. Maybe. Oh. Hey, come back here, dude, where there's a nice big open space and I can see everything. Enjoying the clerical life? I mean, kind of. I'm enjoying the Dark Souls life. Classes don't mean anything. I mean, starting with the mace made it easy because I haven't played with mace before, so that was the choice. Can't parry his shield bash. That makes sense. Jerk knight strikes again. Yeah. Because he's a jerk. I mean, we don't have to kill him. Unless I have to go that way. Which I don't know if I do. Whoa. Oh, run. Yeah, I'm alive, jerk knight. He's like, not for long. I'm like, yeah, long. Me too, Walser, me too. Even a blind squirrel can find a nut, right? Wait, where'd he go? He must have got bored of chasing me. Oh. Bought a book about 14th century clerics you think might have inspired the game? Interesting, interesting. I watched a video on YouTube with these monks doing Gregorian chants. I'm guessing they were Gregorian monks. And they did the Halo theme. It's about as close as I can converse with Richard about your book. Zaki said he did some Umberto Eco on his shelf. Probably this book. Oh, interesting. It's funny how, I wonder if that's a cultural difference of interpretation then. Where'd Jerk Knight go? Did I kill him? I won? I beat the jerk. Hey, you! You! Oh, I might be able to get a sting in. Jeez. Nope. Nice. I did it. I did it. Yeah, the parry definitely makes everything feel a little overpowered. It was a nice mace to the face. Now, got another one? This is on PC. It is a remastered edition. And I got the parry off and I missed the riposte. Come on, get out the way. In the back. It's alright. Is he blocking the... I thought the downstairs bonfire was closer than that. Can't remember it. I think it's just in a different spot. Oh, I don't even have a weapon out. You idiot. That's next level trying to kill them. By holding your spell parchments and punching him in the face. I think I could have killed him. Wow. I got the parry. Maybe I should have just gone for it the first time when I had 1 hit point. And he had 1 hit point. 50-50, right? That's how that works. Okay. I have weapon in hand this time. I have so many bad memories of these guys. Usually from being dumb, right? Like going, oh, let's try and kill him on the way back to getting my souls. Or... well, that's about it, really. Yeah, you're always in it, I mean, except for these ones, but you don't even need to go out your way to get these ones. The other ones are in spots that you don't have to kill them to get past. But it is just complete and utter failure every time. Except the one time.
Everyone, get in here! Pile on!
Headwind, my dude, thanks so much for the host. Welcome everyone, how was your stream, my friend? You 7 days to dying again? I'm dying much quicker than in 7 days. There we go. Come on, dude. I've been doing, we did really well today. Why no riposte? It's bad. Okay. Things are good. There's a big bad dude in there. I don't know if I really want to introduce myself to, but I walk forward a little bit from on it to try and get a post. Okay, cool. Thanks, dude. I'll try that. I'll try to remember to do that and then try to do it more accurately. Well, we got the doll. So hopefully, unlike last time, when I did have a doll and I forgot to do the DLC, because I still have never gone through the painting. You guys can help me work out what I need to actually do to do the doll thing with the painting or whatever it is. Because I got no idea. Oh, close. Let's go for another strength point. I want to get my strength up. I think I've got a thing. Oh, we don't have any things. Oh, we'll get some kills and level up. We only need a tiny amount and then we can level up. One thing I didn't do after killing this guy was keep going down the direction that he comes from. Oh, I see. Oh, both bonfires are really close to each other. Is that enough to level? Be very close. I need 10, 8, 9, 4. So we just repeat a couple kills on these guys. We'll get that point of strength. And then, one more kill. I think that we can get one of these dudes from outside. And we'll have a phenomenally low amount of souls that we'll be walking into the boss fight, so that's kind of cool. So if we do decide to give up, I've got 27 souls on the line. I'm okay with that. Okay. Oh, big farts. Go boom. Oh, that's almost death. No, that is death. Where is he in terms of get away? Oof. Wow, that is strong. No, that is death. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. Wow. Get up, dude. Oh. The ground. crap. Okay. I think I can do this. I'm gonna Kindle. I'm gonna Kindle. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Hey pup, how you doing? I would have had it if I'd had more Estus, but... I mean, we even got off a miracle heal, which is kind of dumb in the boss fight. Okay. I mean, I'm happy with it. Wedge yourself up in that butt cheek. That's the toughest one, is wanting to prevent the swing. Yeah. There's an unfortunate spot where it turns around instead of continuing to do like the big whatever, the fireball. Yeah, the camera. I guess if it's up against the wall and facing you, you just have to, I guess, draw it out somehow. But if you can stay centered. right. I think that's what I'm gonna. I've got the AOE thing down. It's the jump up in the air and have my camera follow you and not be able to roll anywhere is gonna be the next issue. That one really good spot, a couple really good attempts, but one in particular was. Good chat. That's my first that boss skill. First try. That's fun. Oh, you know what'd be a real kick in the teeth? Oh man, if you'd done that, because then the Elite Knight's there and probably kills you and takes the Elite Knight's normally at the end of that hallway, if it runs up and takes your souls. Thanks, Namu. Like most of the bosses in the game, they're not actually very tough. It's just working out the rhythm that, you know, put your left foot in, take your left foot out, hit them with your club, then you shake it all about, you know, that sort of deal. I'm at 10. Mace 10. Since that gives a slab, makes me think, should I come here too early? Should I be coming later? Because the slab goes to 15, doesn't it? From 14 to 15? A 10 should hit harder? Yeah, but I wasn't comparing to the damage to the health. I was comparing the weapon level to the reward from the boss. The boss gives a reward that will take a weapon from 14 to 15. Which almost suggests, you know, you come here and kill that boss when you want to take your weapon from 14 to 15. And maybe I should have gone somewhere that's going to give me the stuff that will take my weapon from 10 to 14 first. And then maybe the combined fact that by the time I got the weapon to 14, after going through a different area, I'd probably be a higher level. And my weapon would be 14. I'd have more strength. Maybe a little bit more endurance too, so get an extra whack in somewhere. Fight might not have taken as long. Although, you know, it's fairly clean. It's just a little bit drawn out. But people do come through and do no-hit naked, poke them up the butthole with my finger runs. You know, boss fights like that must take forever. You think he's balanced around the plus 10 weapon? I guess. They're probably all balanced around lower than max. It still doesn't change what I was suggesting with based on rewards. If I'm going to go now kill a boss that's going to give me a reward that lets me put my weapon from 10 to 11 and then another one that goes from 10 to 12, it almost indicates a slab almost indicates a very late level boss. Because aside from the 20,000 souls, which is really nice, I effectively got nothing useful from him yet right now. But I will, you know, later once my mace is higher quality, higher level. It's one of the many things I like is about these games and those that have drawn inspiration that don't strictly have bosses at certain levels that just crunch you below their, you know, unlike number-driven RPGs, which I also love. You know, you can go up against a lot of these guys much earlier because if you can time the fight out, you know, provided, unless you're going for a no-hit, right? Provided you have enough health to survive a hit, you can always sort of use your Estus, heal up, go back in there, and if you're at a lower level, you know, it just might be convenient. You might be like, oh, I've got X amount of time to kill. I'll go clean up the second part of the asylum. Or he's weak to bleed and elemental damage and slash damage. Right. Okay. Oh, that's right. I can't do that. All right. Let's go back across the way then. I guess in that situation, multi-weapon, I don't know. Multi-weapon and multi-armor is definitely the way to go in a lot of games. I don't know. I just sort of blindly like to have a weapon. Armor I sort of change around a bit sometimes. The pace depends on need. But I find I feel more in tune with the weapon that I'm playing with throughout the game because the timing of it, you know what I mean? And if I change to a different weapon, I feel like it really throws my timing off for the moves. I think that definitely, I wouldn't say hurts me, but can increase some struggle in some games I play because, yeah, different weapons can make things, and not to the point where you feel like you're cheating, but if the game, you know, if you're supposed to get 15 hits on a boss to kill them, or 10, whatever the balance is, and you're doing everything right and you're still there 25, 30 hits later, going, oh, I'm almost there, that can make things really tough, especially bosses that have like some sort of enrage or a phase change at 20%, and the game's going, okay, when you get to 20%, you've only hit him 8 times, you only got to get 2 more hits in, maybe 3, and you're out of here. And if you're doing if you've sort of haven't leaned into what you need to do to kill the boss, and you're now, you know, those 2 to 3 hits become 10 to 12 hits, and meanwhile the boss is enraging and going berserk, you know, it's like, oh. Well, it has the same moveset as this, but a better weapon as a pickaxe. Yeah, but I wanted to do a mace build, so I'm doing a mace build. It's not about min-maxing or something, I just, you know, trying to make it not super tough. $11.86. Do I have something I can crunch? Do we have a crunchable? And for the most part, we're doing okay. I had a pretty bad Quelag shot though. It was like, I think the 3rd or the 4th attempt. And the first 3 absolutely obliterated me. But the one that I got was a no-hit, so... I do like that the game gives you options. Most games in some sort of RPG semblance does give you a reasonable chance to do things with different weapons. The other type I like is when the game gives you literally no option and your dude goes in with dude weapon, because then you don't have to think about it. Your focus is on playing that character as best you can with what they've got. The ones I hate is when you get sort of like 3 choices and you're like, is there really a choice? Yeah, we've given you a quick weapon, a medium weapon, and a slow weapon. Thanks. I guess, yeah. That's actually not too bad. But no one ever does that. Like, no one ever does it as so bland as, yeah, here's quick, here's medium, and here's slow. You know, you get like this weird sort of interaction between some of them. It's like, yeah, you've kind of given me some choice, but the 3 slow weapons are all exactly the same except they look different. It's going to be tough for mace against enemies that are too big to be staggered, because where the mace shines is breaking poise. Oh, interesting. I think that's the that's something that you get when you play a game through, whether it be the first time or the, I don't know, 6th or 7th time through, and you stick with one weapon all the way through, is some enemies are going to be tougher than others. But I don't think I would ever... I would play a game through once where I multi-weapon and I swap around for the best weapon for the place that I'm at. That's definitely a thing. I'd probably never do that with that game again. because that's literally playing the game the exact same way again. And I wouldn't be doing it 3 or 4 times over just so that I can play the same game with the same weapons against the same enemies every time. I'd rather play a different game. Or play the same game but with a completely different build against everyone. Am I planning on putting points into faith so I can buff the mace? How do I buff the mace? That could be interesting. Because we're sort of getting to the stage where I don't know what the soft caps and hard caps or where the breakpoints are, but I know that, and whether it's still the same for remastered, but somewhere around 30-ish was where points weren't worth it, especially with the amount of souls required to get further. Oh, with a miracle spell? Maybe. I need 30 faith. What's the spell? I guess the issue with that is that's a lot of points to put in to something that I haven't buffed and not see any return until I get to that point. What's my faith at the moment? I think standard was 11. 14. Okay, so it's not, but that's still 16 levels that I'm not getting. Although once, like I said, once you get to give or take 30, right? 30 to somewhere between 30 and 40, like the value of a point in a stat's not as valuable as something else you could be getting. Well, I agree with you, Kizran. I think it can, but that also depends on the player. So for me, like I've mentioned, I'm playing a different build because that makes the game more replayable for me. I also haven't played this in 2 years, at least, because I didn't play it in 2020 and I didn't play it in 2021. So over 2 years, but I can replay it again. So by having... and I could probably play it again in 2 more years with another weapon I haven't picked. So Stone Shard might do the same for me, and then I'll be able to play it every 2 years for until well after I've died. But new weapons don't give me, and new movesets don't give me replayability with instant turnaround. In most games. There are some that they do. Getting 40 strength is more important, probably. I have to choose between Miracle Course Sunlight Blade, which does lightning, or Darkmoon Blade, which gives magic damage. Interesting. I can't remember what. I'm just gonna kill some things and level this. I need 11,876. Yeah, I think... I don't know, maybe I'm just a strange gamer. Or maybe just playing enough games in that sort of situation has burnt me out of... I really want to play Raft, right? But I don't want to play it, and then play it again, and then play it again, and then play it again every time a new chapter comes out. And I definitely don't want to play it, put it down, and then pick it up exactly where I left it off, however many months later the next chapter comes out. I am very eagerly awaiting the, when it gets released, though. From a streaming point of view, though, I think I need to... I potentially might pick it up when the next chapter comes out. Said 876, not enough. and do the thing where I play it, and then when the next one after that comes out, play it from the start again, and then when it gets released, play it from the start again. Because I think, you know, that's kind of part and parcel with the streaming deal. Alright. What's the roadmap look like for Stone Shard as well, by the way, at the moment? They sort of got a... I think for me, if I was going to be playing something to play over and over again a few times, I almost want to have a... some sort of meaningful end, if you did well enough to make it to the end. So many games that I've played that I've enjoyed that get to a point where you get the banner that says, this is it for early access, and you're like... You know? Start again, try something different, like, yeah, I don't know. A group of rafters are stuck. We don't want to play it from the start all over again, but also just picking it up our last save is less than appealing, because a lot of fun is building the raft until they add something significant. Your raft is apparently done, yeah. And that's one of the biggest issues with sort of episodic games in general, is that what do you do while you wait? Especially if they add an update that seems fun. Do you start again? Do you get on your raft that's already past that stage, or you know, like... It's a tough spot to be in. They've added a big endgame boss to Stone Shard to give people a target for each playthrough. Is it at a spot that's viable based on where you would be when you naturally get to that with the content that they have? Or is there a gap between what you do and what you get? You know, like do you need to fill from where you get with some grind to do the boss, or is it just a? Alright. I want to do anything else right now? Not really. I'll see if I've got any... I don't think I'm raising this up. Oh, I've got we can raise the other shield up. I wanted to... Is it the crest shield I wanted? I don't think it was the crest shield I wanted. No, it was. But I wanted it for magic. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's a bit better for fire. Only a little bit. It's got a bit more stability. Alright, let's start raising the crest shield up now that we've got this. Right.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
Looking at the stats, I'll have to see how it goes when we, after I've got crest shield raised up. Oh, it needs more stuff. Okay, it needs different things. Is that because it's got the magic on it? See, the Eagle Shield just needed Titanite and some souls.
I'll be seeing you then. Be careful out there.
Let's, if you rush to it, you're going to get wrecked and have to grind to fill the gap in XP equipment. If you spend time exploring the map and then you're done, you should be at the level where you're trying the boss bubble. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like a lot of games, if you just rush to a boss, you're probably going to... You potentially could struggle, depending on the game. Whereas if you... yeah, do the appropriate amount, you should be okay. And if you do a little bit more, it might be a bit easier. That's good. I think that's something that I think a lot of devs could take away from going to early access. You need to be able to give the players something they can aim for while they're in early access. So, I don't know, they've got more of a reason than restarting just to try the start again. It's definitely a tough balance though. I still personally dislike the stance of let's put our game on early access to see how well the it's sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the reaction, but how you know, if it has any appeal or whatnot, to see if it's worth doing more with. Obviously Stone Shard's not, I'm not saying Stone Shard's doing that, sorry, I think that came across wrong. Just as a general with early access. Because that's becoming more and more of a thing where teams are putting out some product that's definitely not ready for early access, just to see how it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Making a piece of bait to see how many flies land on it. Yeah, and more so, like, not in a bad way, because they're like, okay, I can understand the thought process. Let's make a game, and if it's not, if it doesn't seem like it could be a thing, like we think we have an idea. But if the gaming population doesn't think we have an idea, then why spend a heap of time working on it? And I get that. That kind of makes sense, right? But also, like if you're doing that and then you put something in early access to try and be like, yep, that's what we're going to do to judge whether we're going to make a game or not. It's like, well, what happens to the people that bought it to check it out? Yeah, you like testing the waters to see if it's a viable product. It's like, yeah, that's kind of, you know, kind of not quite where it should be. I'm definitely seeing more of that sort of, and I think the attitude too from devs when they're like, well, I put this out on early, you know, when they stop working on it and people complain, they're like, well, it's not, the patches aren't coming through. What's happened to development? They're like, well, I'm not getting paid while it's not selling, so why should I be working on it? It's like, well, you should be working on it because you put it onto early access, which is almost a contract that you're going to finish it. Right? I don't know where the contractual clause is, if there is any, but it feels like there should be. And I get it, you're not getting paid because you're not making sales, but if early access wasn't a thing and you, like in the past, had to wait until a game was made before you could sell it, you'd be working on it for free in your spare time right now instead of sitting there going, no one likes my game, I'm just going to ditch it. Well, there's kind of a sunk cost fallacy in game development, and there kind of has to be, because otherwise things won't get developed. The same, and it, you know, so think of it, you know, because a lot of games, like especially indie games in the past, they were either people that said, I'm going to take time off and not work because I want to make my game, or I'm going to make my game on the weekend, or I've only got a part-time job for whatever reason, and I'm going to work on the game in the other part of the time. Oh, I'm on fire. I'm on fire! Stop, drop, and roll. Don't reinforce defeat. Yep. The ones that you can almost tell the ones with the difference between testing the water and the best of intentions. More so, I guess, it depends on your industry position. The ones with the best intentions almost seem to have a very unpolished but somewhat rounded product. The testing the waters seems to have a pretty good flash and bang start that doesn't go anywhere, more so than anything else. That's not always the case, but generally, if given a potential failure between two, you can sort of nut it out like that. Also, testing the waters usually comes more from a fully fledged idea. Games become abandonware because of that. Yep. No, I didn't realize that dude was dead. I thought I was ragdolling a body because he wasn't doing anything. I think what's worse is because early access exists, open betas have almost become disappeared completely. They would still exist in some level, probably in persistent games like MMOs and stuff that want to have an open channel that they can put out for people that are playing. That's probably going to be a thing forever. That you get people in eventually, or have a closed and then maybe a small open section. But because that's on future patches of existing products, so it's slightly different. There are lots of games with beta channels in Steam. All right, cool. I'll have to look into that. Are these the ones that they'll have a game? They'll have two games on Steam. One will be Panz's greatest game in the world ever, Prologue. And the other one will be Panz's greatest game in the world ever that has a demo version. And the Prologue is a free version. It's exactly the same as the demo, but it's just a free version I put out because I'm a jerk that's following the new meta trend that people found out they could exploit Steam with. Oh yeah, games with the beta channels in Steam. Yep, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, some early access do that as well because they want to have beta branches and stuff like that. But can you get into those on those games if they're not up for sale yet? If it's just purely a beta? I know, like would it be worth having a section on Steam to trade in abandonware? It becomes really finicky legally. It's not as you would think it would be just as cut and dry as someone sells it to you, you buy it, and you take all the rest. But there's been precedents in games and other industries where original owner will kick up stink when someone takes it on and makes something out of it. I like that idea of early access game, you put it out really cheap and slowly put the price up to what you think its full value is when the time comes to sell it. It's got more features in it. It's more polished. You've made it better with more feedback from the public. You're offering a reason for it to be $2 or $5, whatever, when it's really cheap. You're saying, look, there's not much here. I want to decrease your risk for helping me out, so I'm offering it for $2. Get in while it's really cheap. If I end up not working on it, you got it really cheap. But there'll always be someone that'll be like, oh, that's what devs do, so they can con people into buying something early that they're going to be working on for the next 2 years. It's like, it's not a con. If you want to shorten the word convince down to con, sure. Because sometimes you do need to convince someone. It's like a sales pitch that convinces them. Even if the only thing they see is a small 30-second trailer you put on YouTube and they're like, oh, I want to buy that game. Well, you convinced them. Might have been a really easy way to do it, but you still convinced them in some way. No one ever finds out about your game without them being told about it. They don't just, oh, there's a game I'm going to buy. It's called this. I'm going to go get it. Without looking at any... You've got to convince them some way or another. But unfortunately, people is people. I think that's the other issue too, because it gets used as a cash flow, which...
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right.
I am doing all right.
Anything?
I do. I would like you to get this shield up, please, sir. I've got another Twinkling Titanite, so I'll just go farm another 2,000 while we're talking. It's a really tough spot, and I don't think there's any way to truly enforce it. Personal opinion is that if you're going to start your cash flow by selling an early access game, or selling a guaranteed finished product, or not a guaranteed finished product, but the product will get updated all the way till hopefully you finish it, and you're starting off cheap while there's not much in there, and ramping the price. Either way. And you're doing that because cash flow. As long as, this again is personal opinion, with industry, fairly large industry experience, is that if that's the case, it's almost promissory of you that you're going to finish it. The cash flow is there to help you get through, but should you not make the sales, you'll find cash flow somewhere else. And I think most people that are backing a game would prefer you find the cash flow from early sales or early access sales, because that means you're probably going to be able to spend more time working on the product and release it sooner. If you don't get the cash flow and you kind of need some, and you say, look, I don't want to put it on early access, or I did put it on early access and it didn't sell, I'm going to have to go get a part-time job to keep myself afloat so I can keep working on the game. It just means it's going to take longer. People are going to be like, no, I really hope the game sells because I want you to be working on it. And I'm sure the dev wants that as well because, well, they probably want to be working on it. That makes sense. But when the development of the game solely absolutely relies on the influx of the cash flow from the early access to make it happen, I get why people do it. It's their last chance to make their game, and especially if they think they have something that is going to be... Let's say, I don't think many indie devs go in thinking, I'm going to make a game that's going to make me a squillionaire. The idea is you think that you're going to be able to at least get your cost of living for the time that you spent working on it. Because, I know a lot of people that have worked, 60 to 80 hours plus on their indie product because it's a passion. They want to get it made. They obviously want to sell it and support themselves. And so the idea is break even is in terms of the cost of if you'd taken a wage for the amount of hours the amount of weeks you'd worked on it. That's the goal. Get that back and maybe a little bit more so you can put it towards the next product. So the early access sometimes becomes that last resort of haven't been able to do anything in the meantime, haven't been able to get backers, hadn't been able to scrape up enough, need to find funding. Hopefully early access can be the funding and then I can finish the game and everyone's happy. But the shock comes when the sales don't come in from early access and they're like, wow, is this foreshadowing for what's going to happen when I release the game. And that it's a really quick motivation killer when you put up an early access game and the sales don't come, because it's like, well, is that the world telling me to, you know, I've got at least another year, I've been working on it for X amount of years, do I just go get a job? Like, yeah, you definitely can. But the thing is, and it's there is some merit behind that to say, do I need to, you know, question the viability of the product? The problem is, you're not questioning your product. You're questioning a incomplete version of your product. Right? And a lot of for different reasons of failure, people are shy on early access products, right? And also, I think, unfortunately, a lot of smaller studios are... It's really tough. Like, people will say this is too much cost for a game. And I'll look at games and go, no, you're just being typically unfamiliar on what games are worth, and possibly also being a cheap Australian friend. Right? Because let's face it, most people are really cheap when they try to value something. Well, I'm gonna pay $5 for a pizza. What a rip-off! You know, it's like, this much for a beer? Why? Well, they've got to pay wages. Oh, but same people. It's very similar to how the old men that will say to the lovely beer, you know, barmaid. They'll be like, oh, I hope they're paying you top dollar, and she'll be like, no, they're paying me minimum wage. She'll be like, oh, you're worth more than that. It's like, are you going to pay extra for your beer? No. You know. Now, obviously, the difference with a video game, you make it, you set your price, whatever. But yeah, that's the example. People undervalue stuff, but indie games are pushing up and up and up in price, and you know, some of them are good value-ish. Oops. And I think that really hurts too when you want to sell your early access product for full price, because it's not complete. You know, it depends on how it's not complete too. You know, first impressions count, so you better have some good quality looks in there so people can be like, yeah, okay, it's a bit on the pricey side, but, you know, from first look... You want to play? The feedback on Steam is not helpful. And I think that's, again, that's because Joe Public is allowed to play a game for 10 minutes and then write a 2,000-word negative review and then refund the game. And the second someone says, oh, I don't know how you're able to come to that after playing for 10 minutes, he'll jump on his second Steam account that also does the same and respond to that one in the thread saying, oh, look, you know, stick to your guns, man. Some people just don't understand that others can get a feel for it after sort of 10 minutes and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no. Which blows my mind, because, like, why do people feel they need to be, you know, that guy on Steam where there's, like, I can understand YouTube channel wanting to, or someone wanting to do a channel and sort of promote themselves so they get something out of it. What does someone who has 2,000 Steam reviews based on playing games for 15 minutes and refunding them, what does he get out of that? Like, is he getting some sort of sponsorship deal? Do people actually look up to him? Well, that's the thing too. They don't, Kizron. They absolutely don't, because I've seen a number of talks at GDC from developers that said, we listen to the fanboys. And it's not that they were blowing smoke up our ass. They truly thought we had a really good product. But, you know, and they'll say we failed to be able to find the critical but honest, constructive feedback, because the fanboys would jump down the throat of anyone who dared try to change the perfect game that was being made.
You seem to be doing all right. Need anything?
And I think that's part of being human, you know? It's nice when people say nice things about us and the things we make, because that's an extension of us. All right. I have to find some more things that give me the twinkling titanite.
Night.
Yeah, well, some of the issues on extremes though are because something is actually extremely bad. And it's really hard to leave good feedback for that, because you don't want to, obviously if you know that people filter out extremes, you're like, look, this is terrible, it needs to be removed and or changed dramatically, otherwise you're going to have issues. And you know the devs are going to be like, oh, I'm not listening to that, that's clearly someone with a lot of bias, for whatever reason. And then they don't, and then they go to make sales, and all the reviews are saying that, like, man, if only I'd listened to those couple people that were saying this. You know, and it happens. It does. But what do you do? Play Dark Souls, that's what you do.